taking over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
And we are back, Ferrall, coast to coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. If you don't have the new SportsGrid app by now, I don't have any idea what you're waiting for. You need to go and get it now. Why? Because it's available both at the iOS and the Play Store. You can track scores and live odds. I use it all the time. It's outstanding. You can follow your favorite hosts like Joe Lisi. Get all the clips of Joe getting you all tuned up for Super Bowl 58 coming up next Sunday. You can watch or listen anytime on the app. Watch SportsGrid on the app, like right now, Ferrall Coast to Coast. Or you can listen to SportsGrid Radio on the app at any time, like, say, Carver and Lisi, weeknights, 8 p.m. East. So it is all right there for you. Once again, iOS and Play stores. It is smarter to be on SportsGrid. Go to sportsgrid.com/watch to catch the network and see all the platforms that you can find us on. So, Joe, look, I don't know what the exact value would be right now. I know that Forbes puts this stuff out every year, and I could probably, next regular break that we have, I could probably get for you what their going rate would be. I know that they sold, when Henry bought him for 02, which would become the Fenway Sports Group, it was $380 million for the Red Sox, but that was 22 years ago, Joe. So obviously that's going to be a lot more right now. For a team, considering where the Orioles were, Joe, I know what you're thinking, but they weren't looked at as one of the 10 or 15 most valuable franchises in Major League Baseball. So that's why I think the number looks there, but it's probably right where it should be.
You might be right, but what would Washington, the Commanders, sell for? $7 billion. Is that more than Dallas or New York type of franchise, the Commanders? We know how much in disarray, and they sold for $7 billion. Didn't the Clippers sell for $3 billion? Or am I mistaken?
Probably right around there, Joe. I would think.
Okay, that's the Clippers.
Right in that area.
The Baltimore Orioles at least won a World Series. They have history.
We welcome in all of our radio affiliates, Ferrall Coast to Coast, here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159 Sports Byline. Great to have everybody with us here today. So, yeah, Joe, I just, look, all these teams are up. The valuations are up on all of them, yes.
I just thought, honestly, if we were saying like 1.7, I think we'd be talking about a franchise like Miami, the Marlins, not the Orioles. I thought the Orioles would at least be $2.5 to $3 billion for the franchise, but that's my valuation.
They have the Red Sox valuation at $4.5 billion.
Okay,
is what they have the Red Sox evaluation at.
All right,
Yankees 7.1 at the top. So that's where they were.
The Yankees are going to get 10. If Yankees ever sold, they get $10 billion. I'm telling you.
Now Forbes had the Orioles listed at 18th at exactly the number that we're talking about, $1.7 billion. They were 18th on the last Forbes list. So the number was that this deal is right where Forbes had him listed, 18th in the league, middle of the pack, Joe.
Right.
So
I know, but it's a valuation too, Carver. Right? Like my point is, it's based off of certain parameters. The market actually dictates it. Like if the Yankees went on the market, there's no doubt, in my opinion, $10 billion. $10 billion.
You're probably right.
But that's $3 billion more than the valuation, right? So
I get it, but and I'm not saying this is it's the Yankees. That's why you'd get more. Like the Yankees, the Cowboys, the Dodgers, the Packers. I understand the Packers are different. Red Sox. But name brands, Joe. You're gonna have to pay more than the valuation price. The Baltimore Orioles, you're going to pay whatever the price is. You're going to pay what the valuation is.
What's the valuation on Arizona? Are they higher or lower than Baltimore?
The Diamondbacks on this list that I have from Forbes for this past year are the 23rd at $1.3 billion. The Diamondbacks.
All right.
So look, and there's not much. Obviously, Joe. There's 16 teams that's $2 billion or more. And then
It's just
the margins
odd.
are slim after that.
Yeah, and I know though. I mean, but Arizona's an expansion franchise, and they're only $400 million less than a team that won a World Series. And I understand it was a long time ago, but there's history. Well, it's Baltimore.
I know Arizona's only 26 or 27 years old at this point, whatever they are, but they've won a World Series, Joe. It's just different. I get what you're saying, but they're not a name brand, and that's why they're going to go for whatever the market absolutely is.
You know what? Chop the Orioles.
You know what, Joe? Chop them. You're right. Listen, I got there's too much NBA. I'm never going to get it all done now, so we'll do the NBA later on. I will sneak this in because and maybe we'll know more with the injury stuff by the time we do the NBA games for tonight later as well. Since we're going to start Golf Wednesdays next with Cam, we have the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am that tees off tomorrow. Elevated event, 80 golfers, going to be great stuff. They cut a deal today, Joe, the PGA Tour. Now, we know that they've been crying for money the last couple of years. Ever since Live Golf showed up, they started crying for money. In June, we had the reported deal with them and the PIF, the Saudi fund, who runs Live, that they were all going to be under one umbrella. That's still taking a lot of time to come together. So today, Joe, the PGA Tour and the Strategic Sports Group, and I'll tell you right now what that is. That's a whole bunch of owners of different sports teams throughout the country altogether. Cohen is in there. Arthur Blank is in there. There's a whole lot of owners that make up the Strategic Sports Group. They are going to finalize a deal to pump up to $3 billion into the tour. And of course, Joe, where is a lot of that money going to go? It's going to go back to the players. The purses are taken care of for the next few years, et cetera, et cetera. Here's what bothers me about this, Joe. I don't want to hear, that's all fine and good. You keep giving them money. What does that do for me, Joe? What does that do for me? Because I still can't watch all the best guys play together at any given week. I still have the guys over here, and now I'm losing even more guys over there. Now I got Rahm over there and Hatton over there, and I still can't watch. I want to watch everyone together, Joe, and more than 4 times a year at the majors. That's what bothers me. Save me your press releases. Have everybody play golf together again. That's what I want.
That's a great point, Carver, and I know you're struggling with that, and maybe that's why it's almost like the NIL as it relates to college football, is that's why we're starting to see now these bombs, plus 350, 400 bombs just take over these tournaments. It's maybe there's more parity than what we thought. With some of these no-name golfers coming in. I know it sucks, but what are you going to do? I mean, here's the thing. I understand it's not right, and it waters down the competitive aspect from the top-tier guys, but it's something you're going to have to fight through and live with. I will say this. I know Cam's coming up. I don't want him to take my pick. Nicky Hardy, keep an eye out for this kid. Long ball champion back in the day. Kid's great with the irons in the woods.
Where do you come up with this stuff? We will start the Golf Wednesdays with Cam Stewart. We'll give you the outrights, the top 10s and 20s, the first-round leader bombs for the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am Elevated event. We'll come back and do that. Ferrall Coast to Coast on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe for Scotty. SportsGrid Radio. We keep rolling on the grid right after this. Thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction, or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means they're thinking about betting big.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network.
Well, look at the Heisman Trophy.
The early line.
And what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news. Trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterback,
Ferrall,
backup quarterback.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
I have
decisions.
no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live. Prime time.
Yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
that was
late
better.
night.
We waited for a 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Did like the 2.5. Jumped on.
There's no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back for El Coast to Coast on a Wednesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. Of course, it's Wednesday on Coast to Coast, and what does that mean? It's Golf Wednesdays, baby.
Yes.
We got to get ready for this week's PGA Tour event, and we always start that off with our man Cam Stewart. See him with Gabe weeknights on Sports Rage Late Night, and you see him here with me every Wednesday because we got the outrights, the top 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, the first-round leader bombs, everything you need to get ready. Cam, great to see you. As always, our first, really juicy, elevated event of the year. I know the Tournament of Champions was an elevated, but you didn't really have everybody there. We've had all these bombs hitting every single week, Cam. I'm ready here. We got the best that the PGA Tour has to offer. Of course, they've lost some guys now. Hatton's gone. I was just crying about that, Cam. But I'm ready for a good event this weekend, but the weather's probably going to be a little bit of a difficulty for us.
You said it, Carver. We've seen shots of this wind. They're blowing flag sticks. It's almost unplayable conditions, so we will see. I know guys are already talking about maybe a shortened tournament. They might have to get off guys, a lot of action, holes all over the place. We don't know. We're not there. In Pebble Beach, it kind of like that overseas golf. It can change on a dime, so that's the real problem here. Hey, if you had Matthew Pavon last week, I'll come to your fortune teller shop. You're clairvoyant because obviously nobody in the world had this guy. I don't know what's happening. We haven't had anything less than 110 to 1, 140 to 1 winner. I was on Nate Lashley, 500 to 1 Carver. It looked like I actually had a chance at one point for a playoff. I told my girlfriend we're going on a vacation, anything, anywhere you want, but always falling short. But anyway, we're going to do well this week. We're going to hit it. A lot of good top 10s and 20s, but we need this winner.
I picked up Højgaard last week after the first and the second round. I doubled down on him twice. And I still can't believe that guy Pavon birdied that hole on 18. I should still be in a playoff right now out there at that tournament. I'm stunned, Cam, that we're sitting here. Let's go. Here's the chalk. Look who joins us for the first time this year on the PGA Tour. Rory McIlroy, as he sat there yesterday, completely changing his mind about LIV Golf. Why? Because all his buddies are there now. Rahm and Hatton, all these guys he loves are there. So now he says they can play on both. Scheffler's here. Hovland's here. We've got Max Homa here. We have got Xander Schauffele, of course. Jordan Spieth, Colin Morikawa. A heavy, good list of chalk, Cam, for us. All the best that the Tour has to offer.
Great call, Carver. And here's the thing, too, about Rory. It's a very interesting spot. He has been on fire in Europe. He would have won basically all events, but he hit one in the drink, and Tommy Fleetwood won. So Rory's probably the hottest golfer in the world right now. Pebble Beach, though, is an interesting place. That driver is his ultimate weapon. In some holes, you just can't take driver on there. So a lot of these small ball hitters and guys who just keep it in play will be good. Power will be necessary if the winds blow the wrong way. But Rory, his price a little too long, probably a top 5 or 10, but not on my outright list.
Oh, we never take guys on this show, Cam, that are outrights 10-1 or shorter. We absolutely never get involved with those guys. Here's who we are going to get involved with. I'll start with my outrights. And who plays here every year, Cam? This hasn't been an elevated event. We've had some watered-down fields here the past few years. I mean, Justin Rose won this event last year. Jordan Spieth, though, is always at Pebble Beach because of his sponsorship with AT&T. So he knows this track probably just as well or better than any of these other heavies that are going to be here. 16-1 for Spieth. For me, he'll be my first guy towards the top part of the board, along with Max Homa. Why? Because we always play Max Homa in the state of California. Tony Finau, 40-1. I kind of like the way he's been playing. He's slowly getting a little better, Cam. Played okay last week. I think we got a shot here. Tom Kim, this is a numbers game for me. 60-1 for Tom Kim. Remember when he was 30, 35 every single week, Cam? Now suddenly we're dropping him into the 60s. How about dangerous Denny McCarthy at 90-1? Why? Because he can putt on the POA, and that's what we need this weekend out at Pebble, and our deep bomb, because every week's been a deep bomb. Tom Hoagie Sandwich won here 2 years ago at this tournament. I know the heavies weren't there, but he knows how to win at this track, Cam, and he's 170-1 this week.
It is a perfect course for Tom Hoagie. Guys like that, the Eric Coles of the world. It's 7,000 yards, Carver. It's not 7,700. So you got to plot your way around Pebble Beach. You got to be a smart player, and that's what Hoagie is. And I think actually he loves this track. First of all, your pick with Spieth, he is the perfect chalk guy because you know what? He does everything well. He can putt on POA, probably the best putter in the world when he gets hot. He will win the tournament. If his putter's hot, he'll win this week. And I love him too, but I just went in a little bit different direction, taking his buddy, Justin Thomas at 22-1. Here's the thing. Thomas is one of those guys. I know he went through a bad stretch, but I see him grinding and almost won already. This guy is just too much of a competitor to give up. And I saw some 22-1s out there. I'm taking it. Matthew Fitzpatrick is my favorite pick this week. The young Brit. Hey, braces off, Carver. He's going to be fine, and he'll get it around. He played great here when it was a U.S. Open track. Ben on. Watch out. 55. Straight hitting Benny. Benny on at 50-1. Hey, here's the deal with Eric Cole. I'm taking him every week till he wins. This guy's costing me money, but he's always a top 10 and 20 guy. Sahith Theegala, very, very strong. California golf. Hey, man. And Christian Bezoutenhout, he almost won this year when the rookie did, right? When Dunlap won, Bezoutenhout came second. Yeah. This is the type of course. It's not too long for him. He'll be fine. He'll like Pebble Beach a lot.
He certainly will, Cam. I like two of your guys there a lot. I have them on my board here for the top 10s and 20s, and that, of course, is Matthew Fitzpatrick and Ben An. I'm going to add both of them probably to my outrights along with you. You're right about Rory. We don't play him for the outright here because of the price, but I'll definitely play him for a top 10. Why? Because he's always top 10, Cam. I mean, he's got like 13 of the last 15 events he's been there, and it's plus 105. Matthew Fitzpatrick's 3-1 for a top 10. Ben An, as you mentioned, is up there. I bought a top 20 for him at plus 140. Denny McCarthy, I'll back it up, top 20 at plus 220. Keith Mitchell. Why? Played great here last year because he's playing in the Pro-Am with Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen, and he's running it back with Allen this year. So let's go T20 for Mitchell at plus 280. And Seamus Power, who's got some pretty decent history here as well. Hasn't been playing good golf, but a top 40 for Seamus, Cam, at plus 140.
Great call on you. Keith Mitchell actually has a really good track record here at Pebble Beach, too, right? He's been pretty decent this year. Like, that's the thing. I like it. And you need a comfortable partnership. That's the thing about the program. You can't have some loser executive that, hey, can you help me with my 30 handicap there? Like, you know what I mean? Some guys can't handle it. It's like, why'd you pair me with this stiff? I want to be with some guy from the NFL like Larry Fitzgerald, a guy I can actually have a laugh with and have a good time with. Homa, he's my top 10 guy. You know what, Carver? Him or Spieth might win this tournament this week. You have him to win. I'm going to go with the top 10 mark and see if I can clip him live. Matthew Fitzpatrick, I told you, I have him all over the board, all matchups, everything, plus 110 for a top 20. Justin Thomas, plus money for a top 20. Big Bo Hostler. He might not win, but I know one thing. He'll be around page 2 of the leaderboard, plus 190. Eric Cole, we talk about him, 2-1 for a top 20. And Kurt Kitayama, he's kind of like your Tom Hoagie, top 30, plus 130. Playing all my guys all over the place too, Carver. Big units this week at Pebble.
I'm with you. I like this a lot, Cam. I'm going to have all my outright guys involved in some shape or form. And here's the pairings for Thursday and Friday. Mitchell and Allen are playing with Keegan Bradley and Tom Brady. That's the foursome that'll go out on Thursday and Friday. So you got two NFL quarterbacks. You got Keegan Bradley. You got Keith Mitchell. That'll be a fun one that they'll probably highlight a lot of. First round leader bombs. Now, remember, this has been like the last few weeks, Cam. We have separate courses here. Now, thankfully, because of the elevated event, we threw out that third one, which is awful and nobody likes playing. But we have Pebble and we have Spyglass. Here's the Pebble ones. Denny, 28-1. Kitayama, I'm with you, Cam. How about tomorrow he gets it done? 33-1 in round number 1, and Seamus Power at 45-1 for me. Let's go over to the other side, Spyglass Hill. That is where we have Keith Mitchell at 35-1. Hoagie Sandwich at 40-1. And Davis Riley was the bottom guy on the board, Cam. He's a Thursday Warrior, 70-1 over on the Spyglass course. I'm going to take my chances.
I've had Davis Riley to win tournaments, and you're right. Like, usually things go south on Sunday when you need him to come through at 200-1, but on Thursday and Friday, he's a friend of the program. I love your pick, Carver. I'm telling you, Keith Mitchell will be really comfortable. I'll play him in the first-round leader, too. Love that pick. And Kitayama likes to get off the hot start, so I love your first-round leader bets. I'll write a couple of those.
Cam, let's have ourselves a huge week here at Pebble Beach. I love that it's elevated this year. I love that all the heavies are there. The weather and the wind is going to be absolutely crazy. Next week, they're at the Waste Management with the crazies on that par 3. I can't wait, Cam. Cam Stewart, the golf picks. We're back coast to coast after this.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Purdue on the road in a very difficult place to win in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not in Jersey Mike's Arena, but in the rack. And it was tight.
You still have to win these games. Like, you could talk about even equate it to the NBA. Like OKC just rolling into Detroit, going, yeah, this is going to be an easy victory, and not coming away with the W because you're not focused here. Good move there for the Purdue Boilermakers. You can take a look at Zach Edey.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
The Chiefs end up winning outright as a 4.5-point underdog at kickoff last week. They're headed back to the Super Bowl yet again. They were phenomenal, Vinny, in the first half, and they were phenomenal against Miami in the first half, too.
A lot of motivated players, and look, you got to hand it to them. Youthful players playing in a great system by Spagnuolo, and we know how great of a big game coordinator Steve Spagnuolo is.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
I can tell you, like, Las Vegas is heavy San Francisco territory. All right, there are a ton of Niner fans, man, in Las Vegas and in Nevada, and specifically Reno. Reno's close, obviously, right? So, like, Reno's numbers will be a little bit different, but the total of 47.5. I get it.
Sports Rage Late Night. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman Trophy
The early line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterback,
Ferrall,
backup quarterback.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
I have
decisions.
no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
In the bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was good
Late
betting.
Night.
We waited for the 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Did like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting, ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The brighter the lights, the bigger the stakes. Hunt or be hunted. Know your prey. This is a whole new jungle. This is the Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM.
And we are back for El Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. Of course, BetMGM, they are getting ready for Big Game 58. And what are they doing for you? How about betting $5 and getting $158 instantly? Are you kidding me? You got to download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android or visit BetMGM.com. Sign up and deposit at least $5 into your newly created account. This is for new users here. Place your wager in the amount of at least $5 at standard odds price. Once you have placed a bet, you will receive $158 in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your wager. Win or lose, $158 right there. In the account, you got to use bonus code SG158. BetMGM getting you ready. Big Game 58 right around the corner next Sunday out in Vegas. Davis Maddock is with us every day here on C2C, Fantasy Sports Today, Saturday mornings here on the grid. Before we get into other things, Davis, I call it now Golf Wednesdays on C2C because I got Cam Stewart, I got Keith Stewart, I got tons of golf that I do on Wednesdays. You love it too. So you got to at least give us a play or one or two plays for the elevated event, the AT&T Pebble Beach program we got starting tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love this golf course. I prefer when they play the U.S. Open at this golf course. It's not necessarily made for TV. Well, Saturday and Sunday will be good. Thursday and Friday, it's definitely not the best TV in the world that you're going to find. You're definitely going to be we were like Aaron Rodgers is going to be on your TV, Josh Allen's going to be on your TV, Justin Timberlake's going to be on your TV, Bill Murray's going to be on your TV. So if you like that, then whatever, that's your thing. I got two plays I really like here. Colin Morikawa, I like him on a lot of these West Coast golf courses. I just love Morikawa anywhere where if he just has 170 yards to the green, on 50% of his tee shots, he's going to be looking, down on the leaderboard. And that is exactly what this course is. And Tom Hoge, former winner here, he is way down the board at BetMGM. Right now on BetMGM, you can get him at 100-1. I bet if you just kept monitoring for the next 27 hours, you could probably find they'll move things around. You could maybe even get a 120 on him. But he told me, he came on my podcast a couple of years ago, said it's my favorite golf course in the world. He's played Augusta, he's played all these other majors, and this is his favorite course. So, when a guy's playing his favorite course, I think you got to toss a couple shekels.
I think you're right. I'm on Hoge as well. Me and Cam were just talking about it. I love him. He's won here. As you just mentioned, you give me the info. He loves it. It's his favorite course. He loves this track. Even more reasons that we'll ladder Hoge. We'll go outright. We'll go 10, 20, 40. We'll hit Hoge in every single way that we possibly can this week out at Pebble Beach. All right, let's go to the hoops now. We do have 4 plays from you for tonight. Before we get there, last night, there's like this talk today, Davis, and we talked about Embiid yesterday. But there's this talk today that, he rushed himself last night. He's been hearing the words about how he needs to keep playing to win the MVP. And honestly, Davis, I thought it showed. Even before he got hurt, and they're saying it's a separate injury, he had 14 points in 30 minutes. That is not Embiid type of numbers. And now, who knows? We're still waiting to hear what the word's going to be. But now he's really not going to win the MVP because he's going to miss those last 5 games.
That's true. And I think if I was reading stuff correctly, I think even a couple of the Warriors players agreed. They were like, yeah, he was not right. That was not the full Embiid show. Now, Tyrese Halliburton said the same thing. So he just came back from an injury last night after being out for 5 games. And then he came back. So Halliburton missed 5 games, came back for 1 game with his hamstring injury, scored a bunch of points. I think he had 37 in the game. He came back, got re-injured, tried to play again last night, was not that effective. I am definitely more, if I had to say, am I on Adam Silver and the owner's side, or am I more on the player's side here? There's an obvious solution here that the players would agree to and that us as fans would probably agree to, because it would mean more meaningful, high-quality basketball more often, which would be make the season 70 games. Make the season 65 games. You don't lose anything. So much of the final month of the season anyways, Carver, is meaningless, super meaningless. I mean, anyone who has bet on basketball for a long time knows you get to April and we're like, you got like 5 guys who are on 2-way contracts. Half the roster is out. We got, the Portland Trail Blazers have 9 wins and they have a game in April and they're playing, they have 8 healthy guys. It's just a mess. But obviously the owners don't want to do that because they're going to lose a bunch of TV money. They're going to lose a bunch of gate receipts and all that stuff. But it really would make the product better. And of course, the response to that is always, well, Michael Jordan played 82 games. It's like, it's just a different game, man. It's like these guys are so much bigger, faster, stronger. Like it's just, basketball is played at a different speed now than it was 20 years ago. It's just true.
Facts are facts, Davis, and you're absolutely right on that. All right, 4 games tonight from you. It's kind of a weird night in the NBA. We have a lot of games. We have a bunch of games where stars are completely out. We have a couple of games with stars returning to their old homes, and we'll start there with you because Kevin Durant and the Suns are in Brooklyn tonight against the Nets. Now, I've been making this joke the last 2 days around here, Davis. Nobody in the New York area cares or knows that Kevin Durant is returning to Brooklyn tonight. I know that TV deck, they put it in the primetime game. It's on national television. Nobody here actually cares. But Durant, minus 3.5 in the Suns, 232.5 is the total as they come in to play this net team tonight.
I mean, I will tell you someone who definitely cares, and that would be one Mr. Kevin Durant. One really needs only...
Even though he says he doesn't.
Oh, of course, of course. You know, he's gonna do his pregame whatever, and it's gonna be like it's nothing but love. It was unfortunate that it didn't work out. No, Kevin Durant. I mean, I bet of all the teams he has played for, right, how acrimonious it ended with Russell Westbrook and those guys in Oklahoma City, how bad the situation was when he left the Warriors. I bet he hates the front office and the ownership of the Nets the most of any of them because they were the only ones that made him look stupid, where he came out and he said, I would like to be traded, and they just didn't trade him. They said, you know what, we'll call your bluff. We think you're going to show up and play, which Kevin Durant would show up and play because the dude loves to play basketball. And he is it's such an unfortunate thing with him. Like, he really is one of the truly greatest players of all time, and we'll never remember that for him because he just is. I mean, he's one of the weirdest guys of all time. All of that, though, is a long way of saying this dude is scoring 35 points tonight, maybe 40. I mean, he is going to be gunning from the jump. The Suns are actually like almost fully healthy now. Grayson Allen has been upgraded from out to day. So now the only guy that they have out who's part of their rotation or would be out of their rotation would be Damian Lee, and he's been out since October. So, like, they're fully healthy. I actually don't really get this line because the Nets are kind of banged up. They're losing guys on the wing right now. I would make this more like a 5.5 point spread. I mean, I guess they do have Simmons back, but Dorian Finney-Smith is not going to be playing here, so that's kind of probably their best Durant defender. We got Suns -3 all day here.
Well, also, Simmons came back the other night for the first time. He was probable for tonight, and he's been downgraded to questionable. So only one game it took for Ben Simmons to now once again maybe not playing tonight. The other return we have is Dame Time back in Portland against the Blazers with his Bucks. A heavy number, of course, here, 10.5 for Milwaukee, and a total of 236.5, Davis.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I do love these spots, and it's not like the most analytical thing that I ever do on these shows is be like, I think Damian Lillard wants to score a lot of points. But one, Damian Lillard does want to score a lot of points. Two, this team, the Bucks, they are in the middle of reconfiguring their defense right now. So obviously that's a big reason why Adrian Griffin got fired. I think the early evidence would suggest they don't really know what they're doing yet. Doc Rivers has been the coach for 5.5 days. I don't think they have the defensive stuff solved yet. I think they'll get there. I mean, I thought that was a pretty good coaching switch, but we are taking the over here. This should be a spot where, I think both teams can get to the 120s here. We might even see a 140 spot from the Bucks tonight, I think.
Denver is in Oklahoma City against the Thunder tonight, Davis. Now, we get these from you. Obviously, we do all this stuff early in the day, and then by the time we get to the lion's share, sometimes things change, and things have changed. Joker out for the Nuggets tonight in OKC. Probably changes the way we want to play this one, Davis.
Yeah, dude, he's scared, man. Jokic does not want these problems. We already had one blowout by the Oklahoma City Thunder of the Denver Nuggets that was in the Nuggets building. Now it's like how Embiid always wants to duck the Joker. He doesn't want to play against Chet. He doesn't want these problems. So initially I had the money line. The one I think I would do now, I mean, the spread I think is good. The Nuggets are just, I mean, look, they're just a lot worse without the best player in the NBA. Like, that should be pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And then I do like you. I think you do stuff with Chet, same game parlays tonight, because DeAndre Jordan is not keeping up with him.
No, he is not. And last one for you, the Magic are in San Antonio against the Spurs. Early this morning, it was 4.5. Now up to 5.5 for the Spurs.
Yeah, I am done with the Magic until they acquire a guard, just like a guard. Just fine. I mean, dude, get Jameer Nelson out of retirement. Like, do something. They do not have a point guard on this roster. And the Spurs, man, the Spurs are playing a more competent brand of basketball right now, basically because Wembanyama is, one, he's playing center, and two, he is like absolutely unbelievable. So I'm riding the Spurs at home here versus the Magic.
Davis, let's have a very big night. We'll cash a bunch of tickets, as always, here on the Lion's Share. Lots of good NBA games, and we will see you again next time here. Davis Maddock, Fantasy Sports Today, Saturday mornings here on the Grid. The Lion's Share, brought to you by BetMGM. We're back coast to coast right after this.
The Lion's Share, presented by BetMGM.
I kind of thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction, or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
Well, look at the Heisman
The
Trophy
early
race
line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Ferrall
backup quarterbacks.
Coast to Coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
I
decisions.
have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
good betting.
Night.
We waited for a 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Did like a 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting, ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back. Ferrall Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. All right, Joe. NBA for tonight. Very full slate, and we have a couple games of significance in terms of old faces or faces back in their old homes. We have a lot of stars out tonight. Let's try to go through some of this and figure some things out. The Bulls, your Bulls, who lost outright to the Raptors last night, they have themselves a back-to-back in Charlotte against the Hornets. Bulls minus 5.5, 214.5 is the total here. LaMelo Ball doubtful for the Hornets. So doubtful that Ball's going to be out there. He's, of course, missed the past couple of games, Joe.
What are you going to give me for, is DeRozan playing and Kobe White? If they're
DeRozan
playing...
and Kobe White are playing. DeRozan and Kobe White are playing, Joe. Those are your guys. Kobe White threes. How many threes tonight? 3, 4, 5? How many threes for Kobe White?
Well, last night DeRozan came in. I think he got through his total last night, but he starts this guy every night. 4 minutes left in the second. The guy's got 2 points. I can't back DeRozan tonight, which means he'll probably pour in 35. I'll go with Kobe White threes. Three or 4 threes. It's got to be plus money, right?
All right, Kobe White threes for Joe tonight with the Bulls and the Hornets.
The Bulls. I would lay.
Oh, you're gonna lay it? You're gonna lay it. All right, 5.5 on the road. Second night of a back-to-back. Give me the Hornets, Joe. With the 5.5 at home. Give me the Hornets.
You do that on purpose. You're so
no,
like really.
This is one of these times like. Ball's not playing. Hornets have nobody out there. Bulls' second night of a back-to-back. I could see the Hornets probably winning the game outright tonight. That probably would be happening. The Bulls suck, Joe. You know that. They never come to play when it actually matters. Detroit is in Cleveland tonight against the Cavs. Cavs minus 12.5. 230.5 is the total. Cunningham probable for the Pistons. Looks like the Cavs are going to get Darius Garland back as well, Joe. He's been out for weeks, and he gets back in the mix. Jared Allen questionable. So the Cavs probably as full strength as they have been in a while, and they get the heavy number at home against Detroit.
I'm going to take Cunningham's number tonight because typically I would take Donovan Mitchell in this situation. Let's take Cade and the over. Cade and the over.
Cade and the over. Over 230.5 for Joe in this game.
No defense. They suck.
They don't play any defense. I'm not going to disagree with you on that, Joe. There is no defense whatsoever from them. The Clippers are in D.C. against the Wizards. Clippers minus 10.5 as they continue this East Coast trip that they are on. 236.5 is the total. Paul George questionable with the groin. He's not listed on the injury report. It sounds like, Joe, if he does, he's had limited minutes in the last 2 games. He's only played in the low 20s in terms of the minutes. So if he's out there, he's probably going to be limited. But either way, Joe, like, the Wizards suck. Like, let's just lay it to where it goes.
Is Russ
and
playing?
Yes, he's playing, of course. When really good teams play the Wizards, they hammer them.
So let's take
No.
Why can't you take Russ's bounds?
What's the number?
Probably like 4.5.
They don't even have him listed here.
So you said he's playing.
I know, but they don't have him listed. Not listed on anything.
That means he's not playing. That means Russ is out.
My report here says that he is. What's my report? He's not on the injury report. I don't have him listed here, Joe.
You
not
gotta
on
have
my sheet.
You don't. You have the sheet. You don't have the boots on the ground report. Boots on the ground. Like, I need it right outside the locker room with the mic and the. 4.5.
4.5 on the bounds. There you go.
I'm the human.
We got to see. If I had another, I had to open up another book, Joe. There you go. There you go. We need another book.
Let's go.
But it's always 4.5, and then you alt it to 8, and then you get 6, and you lose instead of just taking the regular number.
It's always 4.5. Just have the computer spit it out. Why do we have anybody in the risk room anymore? Huh? Seriously, you just say Kings, it's always 4.5. That should just spit out the number.
It's always 4.5. The Kings are in Miami against the Heat tonight. Heat minus 2.5. 230.5 is the total here. Like the Heat to bounce back, Joe. I mean, they've been getting, they've been getting blasted lately. What do you want to do here with the Heat?
Jimmy and Terry stepped up. Could tonight be Hero? You want to take Hero? Then think about it. They're going to need threes against the Kings. They can't score 80 against the Kings. Kings are going to put up $110. At the downside, they're going to need threes. You want to go with Hero tonight? 5 threes?
Yeah, we could do Hero. If you want to do Hero, we could do Hero.
You want to do Desmond Bain?
He plays for the Grizzlies, Joe. So we have to. He's on the Grizzlies, so I'm not sure.
Not Desmond Bain. Now, what's the other guy that I do? Not DeAndre Fox. The other guy, Monk. It's Monk. Malik Monk.
Kevin Huerter.
Yeah,
Keegan Murray. Who do you want to go with on the Kings, Joe? Who do you want to go with on the Kings?
No, outside of DeAndre Fox, I'm not taking anybody. They're complete. Huerter, every time I do his threes, the guy never steps up. The only person I'm willing to do tonight is Hero I'm telling you. Hero. I know all these guys. I don't even know what team they're on. It doesn't even matter.
No Rozier for you tonight, huh?
Doesn't even matter.
Rozier's been a money burn. Are you?
No.
Money burn? Oh, okay.
No. He was 16 and a half the other night. He got into the 20s.
Okay. So why don't you alt him tonight? Play him for 20. Play him for 25.
Could he give us back? Because I think it's going to be Hero tonight because they need threes. I mean, Kings are fast and loose. They can't play. Put it this way: Miami can't play fast and loose and have Jimmy score 2 points heading into the second quarter with 3 minutes left. They're going to get blown out in terms of that environment. They don't play defense anymore. Rozier is the only bright spot last game, and Hero is hot and cold. So take your pick. You want to take the Heat and a bounce back, or the over? Which one?
I'll take the Kings plus the 2.5 on the road in Miami tonight. I'm on the Kings. The Pelicans are in Houston against the Rockets. Pelicans minus 1.5. 230.5 is the total. Zion, questionable. Herb Jones, questionable. So a few guys there, that's your guy, Herb Jones. But I'll tell you who's not questionable, Joe. Valanciunas. He's in.
Well, here's the thing. With Zion out, can we get Valanciunas to 12 pounds tonight?
Probably not.
How can he get 12 pounds? The guy's 7'3". I mean, I don't understand. He just has to just hang by the net. Just hang by the net and the rim, and you'll get 7 easy. Guy's amazing. Just stand there, guy. I'm gonna alt him. I'm gonna go with the usual suspects tonight. I'm gonna get smashed. Valanciunas for 12 pounds.
You love going to the bell cows. You love going to the bell cows, Joe.
And Hero for 3.
Never goes well.
I'm gonna get smashed tonight.
Dallas is in Minnesota against the Timberwolves. Now, significance here, Joe. No Luka, no Kyrie, no Lively. Skeleton crew for the Mavericks, who are getting 13.5 on the road here. 221.5 is the total.
Here's the problem. You want to take Hardaway alt? The problem is if they get smashed, he'll be pulled in the third quarter. So we got to tread lightly there. You want to take Edwards? You want to take Edwards for 25 and Hardaway for 25?
I'm not taking Hardaway for anything. Hardaway always lets me down. I don't care that those guys aren't playing. I'm not playing Hardaway.
Well, who else do you want to take then?
I don't want to take anything in the game. I don't want to take anything in the game.
All right, you'd rather back the Magic tonight against Wemby.
Under. Honestly, there is one thing I like in the game. Under 221.5. Mavericks and Timberwolves. Mavs won't score. No Luka in the lineup. Who's scoring? Nobody. That you see that the supporting cast on that team when Luka and Kyrie don't play? They're not scoring tonight, Joe. Under.
All right. Let's take under. 221.5. All right, let's go.
Orlando is in San Antonio tonight against the Spurs. Magic minus 5.5. 226.5 is the total here. Wembanyama is good to go, Joe, and he's been playing a lot better. Now I believe he's like minus 225 for the Rookie of the Year, so he's taking that back as well.
Yeah, but I mean, the Magic should crush them tonight, no? I mean, laying 5.5.
I don't think so.
Oh, really? You think
I'm on the
Pop
Spurs?
All of a sudden, you're buying back into Pop, huh? I'm going to lay.
Magic are on the down, Joe. They're not playing good at all. No good for the Magic.
This is a get-right spot for them. Fast and loose tonight. I'm laying it with Orlando. That could be a best bet, by the way.
I don't see it, Joe.
Even better. It's a best bet now. You don't see it.
I don't see it. Denver is in Oklahoma City tonight. Was going to be a big matchup with two of the best in the West. Not anymore. Why? No Joker for Denver. He is out with the back. On the Oklahoma City side, SGA looks like he's good to go. He's available. He's been sick. Holmgren's available. Dort's available. No Jalen Williams. No Isaiah Joe. They're both out. OKC minus 6.5, 224.5 the total.
I'm going to go under because without Joker in there, I think they're going to have a problem. It's going to be all Jamal Murray and Luau Dort. How about you want to take a little Luau Dort tonight? 25 plus for Dort? What's that number?
Dort, another guy I backed last week one night. I forget who they were playing in the Oklahoma City game, and in that San Antonio game, he let me down.
Tonight's the night that he breaks out for 30 and 10 bounds.
Probably. I'm sure that's precisely what he's going to do. Kevin Durant returns to Brooklyn tonight. The Suns face the Nets. Nets getting 3.5 at home. 232.5 is the total. Of course, you have the guys on the Brooklyn side too, Joe, facing the Suns. Bridges, Cam Johnson, etc.
Well, we already agreed on the radio show last night that we're taking Bridges. So what are we going to do? Threes or points with Bridges tonight?
Points. Taking points.
How many? 20?
25 plus.
All right.
What's wrong with that?
It's a tough. I mean, the guy is hot and cold. It's like he can't hit the side of a ball.
We're going to hope he's hot against his old team. We want him to be hot. Let's get him hot, Joe.
All right, just points then, no threes.
Just points, no threes. And I like the Nets, Joe, plus the 3.5 at home as well tonight against Phoenix. That number seems a little fishy to me, as Davis was saying before. Bucks and the Trailblazers in Portland. 10.5 is the number here. Dame time returning to Portland. 236.5 is the total. Of course, Davis liked the over in this game, Joe. I could see that. But Dame time, he hasn't been lighting it up. If we want to go with all these Dame time problems, he hasn't been lighting it up lately.
So this will be the one for me. I was on him the last game, 2 of 4 in the first half. Tonight's the night he shoots 23s. He's going to want to bury them tonight. The only problem is
whatever the highest amount of threes they want to give us. Let's go over it.
But
whatever it is, 6, 7, whatever.
What if it's a 30-point game in the third quarter? Then they pull him.
Nah, he ain't sitting this one out. Doc's going to let him eat. Doc's going to let him eat with some huge night.
So then we take Dame for threes tonight?
Let's take him for threes. Whatever the highest alt is. Whatever the biggest alt is, we max it. Dame time. Going to be a pig tonight back in Portland. All right, Joe. There you go. Tonight's NBA. Ferrall Coast to Coast on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe for Scotty. We're back right after this. Thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network.
Well, look at the Heisman Trophy.
The early line.
And what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Ferrall,
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
You
decisions.
have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
competitive.
Night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid
We
information. Did like a 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back for El Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. It is time for this day in Carver High history. How about this, Joe? 1988, the Washington Redskins beat the Broncos 41-20 in Super Bowl 22. Doug Williams is named the MVP. He was unbelievable that day. Joe had the Broncos on the money line. He thought that was going to be the year that Elway was going to break through. 91, Nuggets guard Michael Adams becomes the shortest NBA player to ever get a triple-double. 1993, the Cowboys beat the Bills 52-17, Super Bowl 27. Aikman was the MVP. That, of course, was the Leon Lett game with BB running him down the sidelines as the Cowboys absolutely destroyed the Bills that day. 99, we go back to Elway. Broncos beat the Falcons 34-19. Elway's last game, Super Bowl 33. A rushing touchdown to put it away. Joe had the Falcons with the points.
Second goal with the 3. Elway, quarterback draw, close, touchdown.
16 years, if it's your last game, you might as well get one that way, too, huh?
Why not?
All he has to do is get that ball across the lane. I tell you, this team loves John Elway. John Elway loves this team. The state of Colorado, Denver, they all love John Elway, and he loves them.
Joe, did you have the Falcons with the points that day in that Super Bowl?
No, that's the Eugene Robinson Super Bowl, by the way.
That was the Eugene Robinson
I wanted Minnesota with Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Randall.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the year the Falcons actually robbed us of what would have been a great Super Bowl. Vikings-Broncos would have been a hell of a game, and of course the Falcons robbed us of that. The Dirty Bird. 2000, Ray Lewis is involved in a fight that results in the death of 2 people. He would be indicted 11 days later on murder and assault charges. They would later be dropped. 2015, Serena wins her 19th Grand Slam. She won the Aussie. 16, the Joker won. He beat Andy Murray. And in 2019, the Singer was traded to Dallas from the Knicks. Hour 3 next.